Most men have married wives, while some have married knives. Relationships are live wires. They either electrocute you or they connect you. At the moment, any relationship and marriage that must last,
Yes.
must think about 100 by 100. Between your pastor and your husband, the person that God recognizes in the marriage first is not your pastor, it's your husband. In marriage, we don't compete, we complement. How do you explain those love beds in the university days where you sneaked out of lecture hall to go cook for him? When you begin to live with a stranger, naked and not ashamed, you stick with a stranger, you see what a stranger's body looks like. Okay, this is not a sex conversation, but I would have gone deeper to let you know that there is a degree of emotion that waters down the moment you begin to see the totality of the spouse you got married to. Love will change a man or a woman more than prayers.
Welcome to Insightful with Ify, where every conversation opens a window to new ideas and fresh perspectives. Each week, we welcome a lineup of remarkable guests, from trailblazers in various fields of endeavors to change makers in social justice, engaging them in a discussion that goes beyond the surface with a signature of blend of warmth and intellect, all in the hope to uncover the experiences and insights that drives these individuals. Today, we're peeling the back layers of contemporary relationships. We're tackling a hot button topic that has sparked fierce debate across households and social media. The idea of a 50-50 split in a marriage is our conversation for the next hour. The 50-50 concept in the marriage refers to a partnership where both spouses share equal responsibility for the relationship, including financial obligations, household duties, and emotional support. This model emphasizes collaboration and equality aimed at fostering a balanced partnership. But does the 50-50 split truly lead to happier marriages? Does it not lead to redefining what submission is in modern marriages? Or maybe it's what society needs to see love thrive in a marriage where both partners are equally invested. You're welcome back to the show, Insightful with Ify. Today, we have with us on the show a certified love expert, a young man who has dedicated his adult life to understanding love and its intricacies. We have with us today Daniel Washington. Hi, Dan.
Good day. If you how are you doing?
I'm fine.
Good to see you. Good to be here. Feels so good.
Yeah, it does. Dan, every time, the name really gets to me. It sounds like something from Hollywood.
Well, you're the one that chose to call it Dan. My name is Daniel.
Oh,
Washington.
Daniel
You
Washington.
just love to call Dan. And well, I think I like it.
Okay, it's fine. But how are you doing, by the way?
Very well. I'm very well. I missed everything happening in Nigeria as a country, Africa as a continent,
You missed?
even the globe. I missed everything
I
going
missed.
on.
Okay.
But I'm still fine. We just have to keep forging on, you know.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay, Dan. Now, there's an understanding of the 50-50 concept thing.
Okay.
So now, while that concept refers to like a partnership where they're looking at what one person brings to the table, marriage, on the other hand, pictures them as, they're together forming a union and trying to find a common purpose or goal and then achieve it. Do you feel that we're having the constant back and forth, the argument on the 50-50 because we don't really understand what marriage is nowadays? Maybe there's that disconnect with traditional marriages and modern marriages now in us, trying to redefine ourselves in society.
Okay, let me start by saying that the idea behind putting figures to elucidate on commitment
Yes.
as it relates to relationship and marriage is a concept that connotes figurative expression. In the actual sense, I'm trying to say that when we say 50-50, when we say 100% commitment, those are just figures trying to communicate figurative expression. All right, but in the actual sense, we're talking about commitment. Commitment, endless commitment born out of love. All right, endless commitment born out of love. Let me also establish at this point in time that the concept of 50-50 is relatively outdated.
Really?
Yes, I'll tell you, it's relatively outdated for a relationship and marriage that has to last. And I'll tell you what I mean by that.
Oh.
At the moment, any relationship and marriage that must last must think about 100 by 100.
Oh, at the moment. Okay.
Yes, must think about 100 by 100. And I'll tell you the reason. If you're giving 50% and your spouse, let us take that the fraction to make it work is 100.
Okay.
All right. Now, you're giving 50, I'm giving 50. In the day my 50 is not 50 enough, most likely your 50 would not be able to sustain a marriage that should thrive on 100.
Okay.
So that's why we will always advise people, give your best, give your full capacity. And this thing about relationship and love, it is not how you feel, it is a call to duty, irrespective of your feeling. Do you understand? So we advise people even more, be committed to the one you love. And suffice me to say that you can't talk about you loving someone and not committed to the person. How do you explain those love beds in the university days where you sneaked out of lecture hall to go cook for him? You were beaten by the rain.
Okay.
You missed a test.
Oh.
Man, that's 100, man.
That's 100.
When a girl says, I don't have 100, you have 100 for the one you love.
Okay. But when you say it's a call to duty, doesn't that sound like very, very serious?
Because marriage is a serious business.
Okay.
Relationships are live wires. They either electrocute you or they connect you. All right? It's either you're connecting in your relationship or you're electrocuting. It's a question of time.
Oh.
Someone will fall out dead.
Okay.
Yes, it's a question of time. Someone will fall out dead. The one who can no more endure the challenges that come with not connecting, rather electrocuting, you would fall out dead. That's how you wake up one day and you hear, I can't do it again, I've been having bruises.
Oh.
I can't do it again, I've been abused. Because there is relationship that was never connecting. It was electrocuting. And of course you know about electrocuting. When electricity, yeah, exactly, it would impact on your blood, it can shrink you. And that's why you see most people have come out of relationships on like abnormal. Some of them have lost their mental sanity. Some of them, they've lost their ability to believe that there is a good man out there. Are you aware there are girls like that?
Yeah, that's
they no more
true.
believe there is a good guy, good girl out there, or good guy out there.
That's
the whole idea about this duty. When I say duty, please suffice me to also say it's a big deal. It is duty indeed. Yes. Marriage and relationship. The moment you say yes, I do in marriage, the moment you commit to a relationship, either dating relationship, what happens is as you count down, your feelings, your emotions will begin to wear out. Yes.
They wear out?
Yes. Particularly in marriage, I'll tell you. In fact, let me just stick to marriage a little.
Okay.
Because you know I'm sticking to marriage a little. In a dating relationship, forget about cohabiting. Cohabiting is a gist for another day. But cohabiting in the context of marriage is legit, is correct.
Yes.
All right. When you begin to live with a stranger, naked and not ashamed, you stick with a stranger. You see what a stranger's body looks like. Okay, this is not a sex conversation, but I would have gone deeper to let you know that there is a degree of emotion that waters down the moment you begin to see the totality of the spouse you got married to. And it takes the mature, it takes the committed, it takes the one who understands duty and all the responsibilities that come with marriage to still stay. That's why I've seen marriages that ended in 2 weeks.
In 2 weeks?
Yes.
We've often heard them like stories, like tales, 2 weeks,
yes,
24 hours. Anyways, Dan, do you think that a person's upbringing sort of affects the way they perceive the method with which they want to handle the marriage, whether 50-50 or they want to call it a union. Do you think the upbringing plays a role?
Very well, because we are a product of transferred experience.
Okay.
Our parents are products of transferred experience. Now, whilst I say we are product of transferred experience, we are not in totality the experiences that were transferred to us. Why? Because at infant stage, you are being trained by your parents.
Okay.
But as you started knowing good and bad, there are trainings you started acquiring for yourself consciously or unconsciously. Now, the big point there is very simple. Your mindset, your mentality, the way you are being brought up has a way of impacting in your relationship, in your marriage, in your decision, in your culture. Now, why am I saying this? There is no one family that is without dysfunction.
No one?
There is no one family that is without at least one dysfunction.
Okay.
You might be from a united home, but you guys love yourself, but you don't express the love.
Oh.
Yes, there are families like that.
Okay.
They would only show up that they are very loyal to you when there is danger. Okay, can I? When last did you see your dad or your mom tell themselves, "I love you, I love you too"?
That's
Did it ever
true.
happen? Did it ever happen?
I didn't know my dad. Died
Okay.
early.
Okay, so as for me, let me talk about myself.
Okay.
It's a far cry, It's a
Oh,
far cry.
okay.
And 1 out of 10 parents would find themselves having that kind of emotional exchange. And that thing, you see, we children, when I say we children, like I'm a child though, but I'm saying we as children in the family, beyond what our parents say to us, we are or we carry out what they do that we see. So oftentimes than not, if we don't venture into reculturing and reorientation of our minds as it relates to an ideal relationship
Yes.
and an ideal marriage, what happens is we would find ourselves unconsciously beginning to behave like our father in a relationship. There are guys who see beating a lady in a relationship as normal. Why? They cannot explain how, because they saw their dad beat their mom, slapping a woman, using vulgar words towards her, disrespecting a woman is a norm. He's unconscious.
It's unconscious.
Why?
I've also heard of some young people who saw that happen in their homes and said to themselves that they would not let that repeat itself in their own
Thank you.
lives. But somehow, subconsciously, they found themselves tilting towards that.
It's the strength of that confession is not strength enough to kill an existing attitude. Let me break down. You saw an experience, your dad beating your mom for over 25 years of your life. One single confession is not enough.
Oh.
Do you understand what I'm saying?
So just verbally stating that
Just
I will never
verbally
do this
stating
to
is
my
not
wife
enough.
is not enough.
You have to keep saying it. A man will say, keep saying it, don't stop talking. You have to keep saying it.
Yes.
Now, not just saying it, you have to say it to the point where you generate actions contrary to the already existing thoughts in your mind of beating a woman.
Okay.
You have to replace those norms you saw as a child with another kind of norm that should sustain for an ideal union.
So you're saying that basically our upbringing can actually determine for us
Very well.
subconsciously or even consciously
Yes, it
whether or
can.
not we want to see marriage as a 50-50 thing
Yes, it can.
or
Very well.
as a union. But then it's the 50-50 thing, that concept, is it even achievable in a marriage? Because I'm trying to look at how possible it is, them keeping tabs. Wouldn't one person at some point feel that they have, poured out themselves and the other person is not even meeting them halfway on it?
Okay, let me say this. In the marriage, emphasis on the marriage, in the family also, there's what is called hierarchy. There is hierarchy in the family.
Okay.
Just like how you have hierarchy in organizations, in companies, you have hierarchies in government, you have hierarchies in parastatals, MDs, you have hierarchy. Even in the globe today, if you're trying to arrange the nations of the world,
Yes.
you have a hierarchy. You have developed nation, you have developing nations, and you have underdeveloped nations. Now, the same applies to the marriage union. We have hierarchy. The man is the head of the family. The woman is the assistant head, in quotes. People might refer to her as
Called
the
the
neck.
neck.
Do you understand? Why the other parts of the body, the children?
Okay.
Now, whilst we speak of 50-50 or 100-100, okay, onus lies on the head to always be the head.
Oh, all right.
Yes.
That's really a cool way to put it.
Yes.
So the head has to be the head.
Yes, the head has to be the head. There's a problem when the head begins to become the neck. There's always crisis when the neck wants to become the head. That's why you see, all of these things will make us dive into the concept of temperaments as it relates to relationship, the sanguine, the cholerics. There are temperaments in the women that have that tendency to want to dominate. Not every man likes a domineering woman, a dominating woman. Do you understand? But oftentimes, I know we advise people, if you are the head of the marriage, we are not demanding perfection. We're not telling you to be perfect, but be the head. Sometimes being the head is owning to the fact that you are wrong.
Okay.
All right. It's not that you would always see. When I say be the head, I'm not saying that there are no times where your wife shouldn't assist you in providing for the family. Do you understand? Women are wired to support greatness. Women are wired to support responsible men. Women are wired to support men who have a very, very positive drive as to where they are heading. However, women even nurse the capacity to accommodate a hydra. That's why we have things like Beauty and the Beast. How is Beauty able to live with the Beast? It's the ability in a woman. But the most important thing, if you are the head, make sure you are the head. If you're giving your 50 as the head, give your best. Trust me, if the head is giving his 50 or his 100 at its best ratio and performance, the same applies to the neck. Leave the rest. Everything will fall in place.
Okay.
In summary, what I'm trying to say is, man your ground. Take your place. You are the neck. Know the responsibility of the neck and make sure you execute to your best of ability. And be open to correction. Be open to change. That is what is most important. At the end of the day, Heraclitus says that change is in a state of constant flux. We would always keep changing. We would always so. And another challenge is, in a bid to be the head, or be the neck, or be the body, nobody is demanding perfection. You have forever to make the best out of your union. Don't rush. Just take your time and be progressive.
All right. I feel like I need a few moments to actually let that sink in. The parts, especially where you said, you have forever to do that.
Yeah.
Because there's sort of like, that notion that as a single person, you ought to have attained to a certain level of intellect or, be that it person before you join. Many are actually attributing that to one reason why many marriages are crashing now. But that's actually a conversation for another day. We're still on 50-50 right now. So Dan, we're looking at frustration now.
Okay.
Can this lead to frustration? Because we have many couples who are opting for this one, particularly men, right? We have many men who are actually saying that she has to meet me halfway too. I'm willing to go all out, but she has to meet me. The economy is one reason why we're having these conversations these days. Many men feel like, take for example, even the weddings these days. Many men look at the expenses of the reception as humongous. And so they're deciding, you know what, why don't you take care of this while I take care of this? And it's often, with the 50-50 conversation, it's often related to finances.
Of course.
Let me first get your take, because it shouldn't just be finances. Emotionally, there also everyone should be. This party should be available also emotionally to this other person. So first off, let me get your take, on that one, and then secondly, wouldn't that lead to frustration? The fact that you're keeping tabs, on this person to be very sure that they have provided their other half to meet your own 50%.
Okay, well, everybody have their standard.
Oh.
They would always want for what they call a healthy union.
Okay.
But I like to always still state, can we, this love thing, this love that we speak of in marriage, in relationship, can we be self-motivated? Can we be self-motivated? See, Ify, my wife cannot tell me, she does not need to tell me to buy clothes for her. Love naturally would make me monitor her wardrobe.
Oh.
And know that it needs to be replenished at different intervals. If you watch, I'm not saying that I must provide it immediately.
Okay.
But the most important thing is that your heart is open to always spot where your other half is in need without voicing. My wife doesn't need to tell me. If she says to me, it's because maybe I'm being too busy and I'm not seeing it or stuff like that. But I'm trying to say here that the concept around 50-50 I'm in love with my wife. My wife is in love with me. I'm married. See, when I say this and I'm in love, I'm not saying I'm in feelings with my wife. I've said this before. Am I in feelings with my wife? Yes. See, love is not feeling, but there is feeling in love. Emotion is not love, but there are emotions in love. Love is work. Love is demanding. Love is sacrifice. Love will kill you. Yes. When the death dimension in love is self. It will paralyze. See, if you imagine yourself in a union where everything your husband is thinking about is your well-being, and everything you're thinking about is his well-being.
Oh,
that's what we're talking about.
Okay.
The problem oftentimes than not is that one party is not thinking about the other.
Okay.
And the other is thinking about the other party. So when you're not thinking about me and I'm thinking all about you. That's where 50 is being given and 50 is not being given.
Okay.
That's my point. It has to go pari passu. It has to be mutual. It has to go in tandem.
Right.
As I'm giving, you give. And you see, it's part of the things we do in a dating relationship. In a dating relationship, you get to know yourself. It is in a dating relationship you know whether you're dating a stingy spouse.
No.
Yes.
That
it's
line.
in a dating relationship you know whether you're dating a stubborn spouse. And please help me. Some persons should reduce those comments. I never knew he was stingy. How long did you date? You cannot be 100% ready for marriage. I'll tell you.
Okay.
But let me say this also. When you write an exam, you have A. A is 100 to about 70 and above, right? The way we do it in Nigeria. 70 and above is A. The B is 70 to 60 thereabouts.
Okay.
But when we talk about DE is less than 40 and above. Now, the point I'm trying to make here is very simple. If I say I love you, if I say I love you, there's a problem with our paradigm. What is love to him? What is love to her? You know the funny part? I'm 2 years and in marriage. My biggest discovery about a woman is, as a man, never think you know how to love a woman without understanding what love is and the love language of the woman you are married to.
You can say that again.
I'll tell you.
You can say that over and again.
Because you can be providing for a woman whose love definition is attention.
You see?
So she says you never have time for her. No. She says you don't love her. And you are wondering in your head, how can you say I don't love you? I give you everything. Wrong perception. Okay. What is love to your spouse? And furnish it. So when these things are not being met, one party would say, I'm giving my best, but you're not giving your best.
Yes.
Are you getting what I'm saying?
I'm getting you.
Yes.
Definitely.
Part of the way to get it 100%, part of the way to make this thing work is to see how many of the guys, how many of the ladies, how many husband and wives take out time to understudy their spouse. Do you know the temperament of your spouse? Do you know the temperament of your husband? Do you know the temperament of your wife? Do you know what her strengths and weaknesses are? Do you know what is her mumu button in quotes? You know what I mean by mumu? We always teach this in the academy. What is that button that when you hit it, she loses her composure? Do you know how to turn her on? Do you get what?
Yes.
All of these things are things that when you know them, you will now know how to play around these things. And have you not come in contact with a woman? She's wealthy, but she's angry.
You know.
Do you understand?
I mean, the man provides. He's meeting all the financial needs
gives
of
you all
that
the
family.
pleasure, everything.
But she feels like she's not happy in that
But
marriage.
she's almost like a sadist. Something is not okay.
Okay.
There's a portion of her existence that is constantly starved. See, you don't want to be in the space where the person who is starving you doesn't know he's starving.
Oh, that can be bad.
Exactly, that's the problem with all those 50-50.
It's like the problem can never even be solved. Because I mean, if he knows, he can work on himself, and I can see the change on the other side. But if he doesn't even know, where do we even begin? I could stay in this state for years.
I've been there before.
Oh,
my wife was like, you don't do this, you don't do this, you don't do that. And in my head I said, how can you say that? Until my wife broke down drastically. She lost weight, she came down,
oh my.
and I had to sit down and have a talk with her. And I found out that all the while I've been loving her in my terms. Never love a woman in your terms. Understand her terms and love her. However, be sure her terms are not selfish. Because women can be selfish. They are like, let me say this. Women are like bottomless pits. There is no end to how much attention they can take.
You know what? Let's actually go on a very short break now. When we come back, the conversation will continue. I have Daniel Washington with me on the show Insightful with Ify. Stay tuned. Welcome back to Insightful with Ify. Our conversation has been on the 50-50 concept in relationships and marriages, and we've had with us in the studio today a certified relationship expert, Daniel Washington. Hi, Dan. Welcome back.
Thank you.
All right, Dan. Okay, so there's a trend of disrespect in marriages today, and I'm not saying that we don't find women disrespecting men. I'm looking at it from the angle of the men not really understanding the vows that they have taken to love their wife, not to love many women, not to share their attention or their affection with many women. And many a times, people have often said that happens because the men feel that in that marriage, they're giving far more than what the woman is putting in. I mean, financially, they are there. If the children have some kind of, maybe a need, they're also there. Well, the women are also present for the children, but the men feel that what they are putting in is just what the family needs at that time, and she can't actually provide it. And the women, on the other hand, they seem to have taken all of this in and feel that, okay, since he's there for us, I mean, he can go ahead and do what he likes. And that's why we get many people give advice to young and single girls. Does he come back home to you? Does he provide for the family? If he does, why then do you complain? What can you really say about this one? Should we look at how we see the 50-50 concept? Because, I mean, childbearing feels like it's a serious work. How then do we not see the women looking at that as saying, okay, I'm also putting in something into this marriage, even though he's providing the money, but I've also poured myself into this. Why do they feel, helpless to sometimes even speak about it?
You see, Ify, this thing is still pointing down to the foundation. See, the foundation of a healthy relationship is love. We need to truly redefine what we think love is.
Okay.
You see, in marriage, we're not trying to compete who is doing best and who is doing better. You are itemizing, and I like the fact that you're having to itemize very, very wrong mindsets in marriage. Listen, I tell you the basic truth. Anybody in the marriage can provide.
Okay.
But not anybody in the marriage can be pregnant for a child.
Okay.
Please, if you're a man, as much as you are providing and you're raising your shoulders, celebrate your wife to carry a child for 9 months. It's no joke. Let us be careful with the yardsticks we use to judge ourselves in marriage. For crying out loud, in marriage we don't compete, we complement. Okay. We complement each other. You spot the places where your spouse ain't doing well, and you help her out by telling her, helping her. Correction in love, not correction to death. These are two forms of corrections.
Okay.
You understand?
Yeah.
So the whole idea of she's not doing this, she's not doing that, she's not doing this. Why are you the spouse? You are the spouse. See, we have an acronym. The N in man is to nurture. Any man that cannot nurture a woman is not qualified to be married yet.
Wow.
See, let me tell you.
What does it even really mean to nurture?
I'll tell you. Every woman that is being brought to the life of a man is a baggage of blessing. It's a package of blessing. Okay. It is your responsibility. You see, men they might not be happy with what I'm saying, but I'm a man and I'm saying it. At least I'm married. I know what I'm saying. She's a baggage of blessing. She's a package of blessing. Sorry. God brings her to you she's oftentimes than not in her crude state. Now, when I say her crude state, I'm not saying that she's in her most worst behavior and all of that. No, I'm saying that when she comes to you, there's a rule. You see, you have a responsibility to furnish her to become that woman that fits the journey with you.
That's when you see marriage as a union.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Okay.
That's what I'm saying. There are different definitions of love. There are different. Are you aware today marriage has become a contract? So all of these things, there is a challenge with definition of terms. So part of the challenge is why most men are crying out that she's not giving in the best. Is you see a man, take for instance, you're seeing a man that has built a business. He's climbing, he's growing. Classic example. One of the beautiful sides about marriage is when you come in contact with a woman that is supporting the vision of her man. An example, see Tony Lumelu.
Oh.
You see how much, in fact, they've been able to fuse the marriage thing into their company management, and they've even been able to get their children to emulate. They've become part of the family. Now, I'm not saying that it's not happening bad somewhere in the union, but I'm just saying that at the core of marriage is vision, the pursuit of vision. It's a woman that can fit into the journey of what you've been called to live out for in this world that you come in. So when the man begins to find out that she's not giving off better, you see, most men have married wives, while some have married knives.
Yes. That's one that we should probably elaborate on, but we really have pressed for time.
Okay.
All right, so let's move on now and look at the role religion plays in either affirming or destroying the 50-50 concept thing in marriages. And also, young ladies often, they have a certain perspective before marriage on 50-50, right? They often say things like, he has to take care of me. I mean, he truly, and most times again, it's about money. It has to be there for me emotionally, right? Give me all of the attention. But financially, there's the standard that he must have arrived at.
If it's the problem, you don't tell a man to take care of you that is in love with you. He does it without you saying. The moment you begin to believe me.
Ladies have often heard men really preach love.
There is no love without giving, but you can give without loving. Your hands would constantly be open when you are in love. If you are stingy, you are not in love. I make bold to say it.
How about personality?
What do you mean personality? Love?
Some people, I've heard of some people who are quite stingy even to themselves.
And I'm saying that's why
to buy some new things for themselves.
In the beginning of our conversation, I said, you would need to redefine what is your definition of love. Love is a big deal. It's not how you feel. It's not bed on roses or roses on the bed. Do you understand? Okay. It is not I do in a very, very beautiful ambient place. No. Okay. Love is work. When I say I love my wife, it calls for the work that comes with it. It's not like I will take her to the Bahamas immediately. But if the Bahamas is a restaurant that can get her not to be hungry 24 hours, you should be able to do it.
Okay.
That's what I'm saying. Right. So when you say I'm in love, you can't be stingy and say you're in love.
Wow.
There's a problem with your love. You can't say you are in love with her. You can't say you love her and you're beating her. That's not love. No. That's not love. And I think, you mentioned religion.
Yeah, religion, culture. Are they affirming or, disapproving this concept?
You see this thing this concept you just called religion?
Yes.
It is part of the problem.
It is?
Yes.
But I thought religion from before time has always been very explanatory about the role of the man and also that of the woman.
Which of the religions?
That's the
exactly. That's what I'm saying that's what I'm saying. Do you understand? I'm about to say something that is so sad. Have you come in contact with a marriage where the woman respects her pastor more than the husband?
That's like a thing around here.
That's my point. Between your pastor and your husband, the person that God recognizes in the marriage first is not your pastor, it's your husband.
Okay.
I'm speaking as a Christian. I don't know what it's like for other religions, but I'm telling you, oftentimes than not, a man is stingy to a woman because of excess disrespect. Are you aware that a man's love for a woman can dry up because of disrespect? She can be a deaconess in the church. She can even own a ministry, and the man doesn't care, because what affection is to a woman is what respect is to a man.
Okay.
You can turn a man on by respecting him. So this thing about religion and how that it impacts in the marriage and relationship, it still boils down to what we define as what we say religion is. When you say religion is simply the dogma or your belief about the existence of God and how he impacts, that existence impacts in the human race, our living. We have different kinds of religion.
Okay.
But I don't know what the Buddhists, what they hold sway for relationship, but I know for Christians, I know that our God, the God that we serve,
Yes.
is the author of marriage. There are two institutions exclusively created by God. One is marriage, the second is family. And there are principles, there are parameters that he has put in place that if we go through, we would have a proper relationship.
Alright.
Part of the biggest challenge in a successful marriage, or in getting a successful marriage, is tradition and culture. Where I come from, women don't sit down to serve us. Stop that.
That's actually
What
something.
if?
But many marriages are beginning to transition.
Of
We have
course, you don't have a
marriages
choice.
now, so we don't get lines like that. Although sometimes we see it, just subtle play.
Of course,
Of
course.
of actually those things.
So most of these things, as little as they might sound, I'm a title holder where I'm coming from. If you married me, it's a privilege. You are lying.
Wow.
You know what? I've heard lines like that.
Serious.
If you married me, I had to help your family to marry you. And there are marriages like that.
Wow.
Especially polygamous driven. When he had to, because they were in need of money, he had to get married to her and then give them sumptuous amount of money to just keep them going. But in the actual sense, is she happy? You see, most of the dramas around marriage has redefined what marriage is. The moment you begin to wrongly define marriage, you will not get the juice. You will not get the right result that comes with it. And all of these things that we are itemizing, she's
Yes.
not giving her 50-50. It is because the right mindset, the right perspective,
Yes.
the right thing, the way it ought to be done
Yes.
is not done.
All right, Dan, quickly now, as we wrap up, a very important question. Does this 50-50 concept, does it not lead to redefining what submission is in many modern marriages now? Yes, because there's no way we can have this conversation without looking at submission. Many women have often said, I can't pay the rent, I can't assist with the water bill, the children's school fees, and be totally submissive to the man. What can you say about this? And also, for our final take, this conversation has also been linked to, what do you bring to the table? So now, let's picture a single guy and a single girl, right? What should they both have at the back of their minds that they are ready to offer in a marriage before they go into it?
Okay. I started by stating here clearly that in marriage, there's what is called hierarchy.
Okay.
Omo, if you're a man, pay the rent. Yes, please.
Pay the rent.
Yes, please.
Okay, maybe because that's like the one where you need to save up real amount of money.
Please, if you are a man, see, at the core of our masculinity is provision. Check very well. A woman in the Igbo land, they call you Odogu. Why do they call you? You're from that region. Why do they call men Odogu? They call you Odogu when you have doings. When you are able to bring some things to the table. When you can do like this and
that
two-story building goes up.
Solved.
Do you understand? That's what I'm talking about. At the core of a man's masculinity is his ability to provide. That's why some places in the Igbo land in Nigeria, the eastern region of Nigeria, they tell most of their women, don't work, don't do anything, take care of the children, I will do the provision.
That's true.
Because as a man, you are a provider. You owe her provision. You cannot fold your hands. You are earning, she's earning, and she's having to pay the rent. If she has to pay the rent, it has to be some level of consensus between you and your wife. At some point when I was growing up, my dad was a little bit low on cash finance for about 2 to 3 years. My mom had a restaurant and a provision store.
Okay.
Based on the fact she had a restaurant, what did my dad do? My dad had to focus his own finance to pay the school fees.
Oh, okay.
Run the home.
Okay.
Except feeding. So the restaurant was feeding the family, including my dad. Agreements. But not that the man will fold his hand and she'll be feeding the family. The man will fold. She should also buy clothes for you. She should also pay the entire bill. See, it's not like it cannot happen. But you don't expect such a woman to do all of these things and you do little or nothing and you demand submission from her. If she has to do that, she has to do that on the basis of some level of conditional agreement.
Yes.
Maybe there's how the family is. Okay, let us do shared. That's what is called shared responsibility in the family. I can just come back and my wife said, I got new wares for Fares, my son. I got new wares. This is that I got new wares. Say, hey, okay, how much is it? She has paid though. She's not telling me to pay. I'll ask her how much. I got new wares for Fares. Okay, look. I said, okay, how much is it? Maybe 4 days time when the money enters my account, I'll just credit her maybe with 19k if it's 19k she spent. Understanding, because it's my son. I should take the lead in providing for him. There's no crime with her providing for him, but I should take the lead. If you are a man, take the lead. That is what I'm talking about. Take the lead. If you want her to be submissive, take the lead. It is called servant leadership. Take the lead.
But not just financially.
No, not just financially. In different ramifications.
I mean, security, emotionally too.
Exactly. Yeah. That's what I'm saying. In different. You know this thing about cheating. When people say cheating. It's not only sexual. Cheating is not only sexual. There's emotional cheating. There's financial cheating. When you have money, you're starving her. You don't want to give her enough. You know you have. Share with her.
Yeah.
Do you understand? But when you go out there, they know you as a donatus. They know you as the one who knows how to donate. You give out there, but you are stingy to your wife. The only person who knows that you are wicked in life is your wife.
Oh wow.
The people out there know you are good. You are a giver, but she knows you are stingy. And I tell you the basic truth. Who best can talk about you if not the one that lives with you?
You know, I think your partner has a lot to say about you. I mean, they see you through and through, unlike the rest of the world.
And let me conclude with this submission thing, Ife.
Yes.
Submission is not difficult when a man is responsible.
Okay.
Any man crying out for submission, I want submit to me. Yeah. See, let me tell you. Any man crying out, submit to me, submit. See, try, just, if you're a man listening to me. You see this thing they call love?
Yes.
Love will change a man or a woman more than prayers. Have you seen somebody that cried? I'm celebrating you today because when I was very stubborn, you never gave up on me.
Oh.
That's what love can do. When there is love, there is patience.
Okay.
When there is love, your tone in correction is not to kill, rather to build.
Okay.
Do you understand? This is how these things work. When you love a woman, she naturally submits to you. Even as a Christian, even our Bible says, men, love your wife. Women, submit. She can only submit to a man who loves her.
So you're saying he has to take the lead?
Take the lead.
And that way, but if she does meet him halfway or probably even gives more financially in that marriage, it would be difficult for her to entirely submit to the
Yes,
man.
my point is there has to be an agreement, a discussion.
Okay.
That's why no matter how you are claiming that you are in love, you people want to spend the rest of your life. 2 things you must never joke with. Please go and check your blood group and your genotype. That's one.
That's
2,
one.
have a financial plan.
Oh wow.
Trust me.
Not love.
Trust me, please have a financial plan.
For after the wedding. No, not the financial plan for how grand the wedding
Love
should be.
is sweet, oh. When money enter, love is sweeter. See, love is sweeter when there is money.
Okay.
When you can just surprise her with a car.
Oh.
When you can just surprise her with a gift. At your level though. When you can just surprise her with things. It's sweet.
Okay.
But even at your level, let her know that you are not stingy. Let her know that she's not the only one looking out for the child.
All right.
You are also part of it too. So submission will be very easy when love is in place.
All right, so then finally, just in a few words now, the man and the woman, we're looking at two single individuals now. What should they have at the back of their minds that they're bringing to the table when they're getting into a marriage?
Please, most importantly, cure identity crisis. Know who you are. I've said this before. Discover yourself.
Wow.
Yes, you must bring identity to the marriage. If not, your marriage will suffer from insecurity, infidelity, inferiority.
I mean, just a little, please explain that.
I'm saying that first thing first, you must discover you.
Okay.
Who are you? What were you born for? What is your life's vision? What is your life's assignment? What are you? This is the biggest thing you bring to the table.
Oh, wow.
Self-discovery.
Okay.
So when you know you will know how to relate in a relationship. When you do that, please, she needs to meet you pursuing something. She needs to meet you doing something.
How about him? Where does he meet her?
He needs to also meet her doing something.
Okay.
Do you understand? If you are idle, you will not know how best you can fit in.
Okay.
I don't know if you guess what I'm saying. So when it has to do with what you bring to the table, please, one of the biggest things, I know most persons will be expecting to say something else. The biggest thing you should bring to the table is your self-discovery. Know who you are. So that in case he wakes up tomorrow and discovers that the both of you are not compatible, you will not feel less of yourself because he dumped you. He used me. He dumped me. He took advantage of me. Ooh, are you sure? There were red flags at the beginning of the relationship. But because you are looking for attention your parents never gave to you, you didn't think that you should call off the relationship. Now he has used you, and you said he didn't really use you. You used yourself and you disrespected yourself by not discovering yourself as what you should bring to the table. Please, when you discover yourself, after self-discovery, please make money, no verse. Make money. Please, ladies, buy shawarma for yourself, all right? Please buy clothes for yourself. Please, I beg you. Sincerely speaking, if I'm saying this from the depth of my, sincerely speaking, buy clothes for yourself. Oftentimes than not, we are being pushed to do the things your father never did for you. So if I'm not going to do this,
have you also thought about the fact that many men are even demanding of these ladies what their parents cannot?
It's the same thing. It's vice versa. It's vice versa. It's part of what we're talking about.
Okay, so let's all officially call it a wrap on the show. Thank you so much, Dan, for an interesting conversation.
Thank you for the opportunity.
It was excellent insight really on this topic.
Thank you.
As we wrap up today's discussion on the essential theme of 50-50 in marriages, it's clear that true partnership goes beyond just sharing tasks. It's about mutual respect, open communication, and the willingness to adapt together through life's challenges. Every couple's journey is unique, and finding that balance requires ongoing effort and understanding. A successful marriage thrives on shared responsibilities, open dialogue, and a deep appreciation for each other's strengths. Thank you for being with us today, and may your relationship continue to grow in love and understanding. My name is Ifoma Onwebute. Bye for now.